I think that will act in your favor. I mean, clearly you've got experiences that a lot of students don't have. Well, hello, Taylor.
Hello, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Where are you located right now?
I am in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. A lot going on in Georgia these days.
We've got a spotlight on us.
You do.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Well, yeah. I've been to Atlanta a number of different times and really like Atlanta. I went to the Jazz Festival in Piedmont Park one time. Oh, nice. Loved it. Yeah.
I do love Piedmont. That's beautiful.
Oh, it's a gorgeous place. I was super impressed and really enjoyed my time. Some friends of mine and I went there for Memorial Day a couple of years ago for the Memorial Day weekend and all, and really had a great time and really enjoyed ourselves. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's a nice city.
Yeah. Now, are you from Georgia originally?
Yeah, I actually grew up here. Not too far from the city. So I've been here the whole time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna look at a lot of things about you, and we're gonna evaluate kind of where things are and where things stand with you. And throughout this, I'll be pointing us to Mapped, and we'll be going back and forth on some stuff. But don't hesitate to ask questions that you have, and I'll ask questions of you, and we'll just kind of have a dialogue about this, and then ultimately we'll come to some conclusions about where things stand and how we want to move forward. So does that sound okay?
That sounds great.
Okay, excellent. So we're going to first start off with the GPA graph that we see here on Mapped, and so as we know, some people are watching this via video, and then others are listening on a podcast. So what we see here on this GPA graph is MCAT GPA, a cumulative GPA of 3.17. A science GPA of 3.06, and then we see kind of a fairly stable but a slight trend upward on the GPA graph that we're looking at here. And why don't you tell us, so where did you go to college and what did you major in?
Yeah. So I am actually a non-traditional student.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a degree from Georgia Tech. I graduated back in 2013 with a degree in industrial design.
Okay.
So not science related.
Right.
I did actually start out as a biology major. Kind of deviated a little bit from that for a while. My GPA starting out at Tech was not great.
Tough school, though. It's a tough school.
I was definitely the kind of student in high school that, didn't really have to study a lot, kind of like clicked really well with material, and got to Tech and realized that wasn't going to work anymore. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a lot of study skills. I didn't have a lot of study discipline. So I definitely struggled in the beginning. I think that was definitely part of the impetus for changing my major back then.
Yeah.
One of my other really big interests growing up was architecture and design. And Georgia Tech has a pretty good architecture and design program. So I went that direction, actually. Made really good grades there. But that first year and a half really hit me hard on the GPA front.
Right. Yeah, I understand. I mean, your story is not an uncommon story, so I get it.
Not special.
So you graduated in what year?
I graduated 2013.
Okay.
Should I maybe make this graph a little bigger?
Yeah.
So you can see the detail.
If that's possible.
Yeah, I know we have these detail graphs.
Yeah.
Maybe you can see it a little better. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And now you're doing post-bac work now. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. I'm at Georgia State now.
Okay.
Finishing
Which is
up
also
my
in
prereqs.
also in Atlanta, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Stayed local.
Yeah.
Stayed local.
Yeah.
So I ended Georgia Tech with a 2.98, I think. And have been doing really strongly in post-bac work. I've had a 4.0. I don't know if I'm going to keep it up this semester.
Yeah.
I'm taking organic chem, which I know is the bane of everyone's existence.
Right.
I will at least end up with a B, which I know is good, but I'll be disappointed to lose that 4.0 if I don't make it. So.
I understand completely. So you're going to school full-time or part-time right now?
I'm part-time right now. I was full-time until this summer.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I ended up taking the summer off, and then I actually got a new job, and I'm doing my job full-time and just focusing on my prereqs.
Right.
So I've only got a couple left.
Right. Okay, good. So speaking of jobs and working and stuff, let's go on the left to the activities tab and kind of see what that looks like. So why don't you kind of just walk us through this and tell us what we see here?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want me to just go in order?
Yeah, that'd be fine. Sure. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Okay, so this first thing we've got here is the AETH conference. I actually did this a couple weeks ago. One of my biggest interests in medicine is transgender healthcare.
Yes.
And I got the opportunity to actually attend this conference for free, which was really awesome.
Cool.
It's put on every year by the Fenway Institute up in Boston. And I loved this. I actually got to connect with a lot of other students, which I wasn't expecting at all. But they had physicians from all over the country come and talk about trans people in healthcare and what that means as providers and as people. So that was a really awesome opportunity.
Oh, yeah. Sounds awesome. Sounds good.
It was great. I'm really glad I got to do that. Cool. So the next one, barking leather, is near and dear to my heart. This is one of my part-time jobs when I first started school. I've been doing leather work for a couple of years now, and this is one of our local shops that specifically caters to like LGBTQIA people. So it was a really fun way for me to practice my leatherworking and also connect with my community.
Oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
Really nice.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a caregiver activity on here. I have kind of gone back and forth about whether I want to actually include this on my application or not. When that's why I have no hours for it, because I'm still kind of like
unsure,
debating with myself. Yeah. I can still talk about it because it's definitely an important part of my story. So when I was in middle school, my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and she, had medical issues all through me being in high school as well. And so once I got to high school, I got to the point where I was able to actually like take her to doctor's appointments, sit with her while she was there for radiation and chemo and her MRIs and all that stuff, all of her checkups. I'd help her, run errands for the house and stuff like that. And help her, kind of take care of herself as well. And so I have that on there. It was from a while ago. And so I don't know. I know like high school activities are like kind of a no-go. for med school applications.
Was that
so that's why.
Was that sort of an important part of your interest in where your interest in medicine comes from?
I think partially. It is and it isn't. I think in like the early days of her being sick, it definitely was. She I mean, she was in and out of doctors all the time.
Yeah. Of course.
And the surgeon that actually took on her case was like the coolest person. And I looked up to him a lot. Not just because he helped my mom, but he was just like genuinely a very awesome person. And so I think he was probably a big part of my interest in surgery. But I don't know that maybe the caregiver aspect was as much.
Sure.
Probably because I was a teenager and it was my mom.
Yeah, sure.
So I think it was mostly just hard.
I get it. I get it. Well, I think that once you get to the application, I think that you have to tell your story, but you also have to do it in a way that it helps it make sense to somebody who doesn't know you that's reading it. And so, but you also have to have a comfort level in going down that road. And so I think that, you've got a little bit of time yet to think about that and to sort of discover, kind of the direction you want to go with that. So I would say let yourself kind of think about that some, and I'm sure you'll come to the right conclusion in terms of what is best in terms of what kind of space you give to that in the application. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. So, so it looks like you're CPR certified as well.
I did a lot of it online, but I did get to go in person to do the actual like CPR demos and stuff like that. So that was nice.
Yeah, that's cool. Now the next thing on there, the designer for, I don't know how you pronounce it, Subo. Yeah. Subo. Okay. Now that's part of your work stuff.
That was the last design job I had before I went back to school. So they are a furniture company. Doing a lot of like corporate spaces and like restaurant kind of build outs. And so I worked as a designer for them, doing a lot of like CAD computer design work, making shop drawings, that kind of thing.
Okay. Cool. Now I'll scroll down a little bit so we can see the rest of it. And good. So a lot more design work, industrial engineering, and tell us about so I'm guessing in college, what is the Hops chicken? I love chicken, by the way. So that's interesting to me.
Next time you're in Atlanta, check them out. I got that job while I was actually working at Subo, sort of like a part-time thing. Definitely for the health insurance, that was a perk. But it was the first time I had ever worked in food service or any kind of like customer facing position. I think one of the biggest takeaways for me was that I was actually a people person. That was something that was really kind of a surprise to me. I'm a more introvert person. I don't really seek out like small talk really. But they put me on the cash register and I loved it. I loved, like asking people about their day and like, oh, have you been here before? What kind of food do you like? Like, let me pick stuff out for you. And it was really nice to have that kind of interaction. And I think I think I was definitely like missing that in my life for sure.
Yeah, no, that's good. So you had an insight into part of your personality that you really hadn't connected with before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was a big eye opener for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting to me how, you know, you can't always anticipate what things are going to happen in your future that will open your eyes to things about yourself. And so this is part of what I like to call in the application process, the so what. You know, the what is you got a job at Hop's Chicken and you were running the cash register. The so what is that you learned a lot about yourself in that experience.
Yeah.
So that's
absolutely.
yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Now I'm interested when we go back to that list, what is Quake?
So this is a group that a couple of friends and I are trying to get off the ground right now. It's all about connecting the Atlanta LGBTQIA community with each other. We've had like a couple of small groups here and there in the past few years, and they've all kind of dissolved. And so we're trying to get it off the ground right now. We have had a meet and greet over Zoom, which was really nice. It did end up being a lot of people that we were already friends with. But because we haven't seen each other since, you know, February or January, it was nice to check in with them and see kind of what's going on in their lives and how they're sustaining themselves, how they're sustaining their relationships, and that kind of talk. So that was really nice. It was nice to see that everyone's kind of still on the same page, and we're trying to get together pretty soon. But with COVID, it's hard. It's also getting colder, so outside stuff is going to get a lot harder too. So that's something I'm actively working on. Hopefully
cool.
We'll continue.
Yeah, very good. Let's go to page 2 on the activity list and check out what's there. And so looks like what we see here is so MedShare, community service. Tell me a little bit about some of these things.
So I can talk about MedShare for a little bit. I've been volunteering with them for almost a year. And they actually take in like surplus medical supplies or you know, basically stuff that hospitals have like extra of or are just going to throw away. They take it in and sort it, and then the volunteer's job is actually to sort and pack all of the supplies. And if it's usable now, it actually goes to local clinics, like clinics that don't have huge budgets and that kind of stuff. If it's not something that expires, or it expires, you know, kind of a long time from now, they actually ship worldwide to countries that don't have like robust medical systems like we do. So that's been really fun. I love seeing all of the, you know, weird medical supplies that they get. There's some really wild stuff that they get. So that's been nice. And they tell you at the end of every volunteer shift, like how many patients that like you've saved kind of thing, with like every box that you pack. So it's pretty cool to see your impact.
Oh, sure. And it looks like, excuse me, the you've got some more of your work experience on there through Omics, and I guess you were in a little bit of a, I guess I'm assuming project manager is something more leadership oriented than a just an engineer.
Yeah, so I started at Omics as just an industrial designer, doing, product sketches and working on the product instruction sheets that they had. And I think 2 or 3 years in, I got promoted to project manager and was able to actually work on project timelines and sort of like manage other people in my department. I also got to coordinate with vendors and our marketing department as well.
Oh yeah, cool. That's very cool. Yeah. Now you're scribing now, it looks like.
I am. That is my full-time gig.
Yeah. Are you enjoying that?
I really love it.
That's good.
I was a little worried that I don't know, that I wasn't going to be good at it or that I wasn't going to like it, but I really, really love it. I love being there.
It's in an ER, or what's the setting for that?
I'm in the ER right now. I'm also training to work in one of the outpatient clinics at my hospital, so I'll be starting that soon.
Awesome. So that'll give you kind of a different insight into medicine in an outpatient setting. So that's awesome. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Now if you'll scroll down a little bit, one of these this last entry, well, not the last entry, Rachel Grubbs is gonna love you. She's a huge yoga fan. Fanatic. So so I see the yoga stuff, and now I love you because I'm a coffee fanatic, and so the fact that you're a barista, oh my gosh, this is awesome.
It was kind of a yoga coffee party.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Oh, that's too funny.
That sounds awesome. I've tried yoga once in my life, and it did not go well. So, oh my goodness. So
that's too funny.
That is funny. So now I think there was a third page. If we scroll down to the bottom, I think
it's
just one more thing. Okay.
Just one more.
Yeah, so it looks like you've been a busy person over the course of the last number of years, and have a lot of different activities. I think the fact that you are a non-traditional student, that you did a lot of design work, and that you had to start a whole different life before this, going back to school to do the pre-med stuff. I think that will act in your favor. I mean, clearly you've got experiences that a lot of students don't have. That you've had to, hold down jobs, and that you've worked full-time and part-time at jobs, and, you've done a lot of stuff. You've got a lot of good clinical experience that that you're experiencing now, as well as in the past with, particularly now with the scribing. I'm very encouraged by that. I think scribing is one of the best ways to get clinical experience. You get the language of medicine. You connect with this sort of doctor-patient relationship that you see, which is not quite as apparent in the ER because it's so,
it's so fast.
Yeah, it's in and out and fast and stuff. It's going to be potentially a much different thing in the outpatient clinic that you'll see this more of a connection between the caregiver and the patient. So, so I'm excited for you on that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now let's go back to your dashboard, and if we can look at go down to let's look at the MCAT graph.
Yeah.
And so what we see here now, what's not apparent here is practice versus real scores. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey through the MCAT thus far?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started studying for the MCAT back in June. I did the first score on here is the May 31st one. That was my diagnostic.
Right.
And then I was actually able to be off work during this time. So I had 2 full months to do basically just content review.
Right.
And then that second score on August 15th is the 504 that you see at the top. That was my first full-length practice test. I did that immediately after that 2-month study period. Took it, one sitting all the way through. They gave me my score back. I was shocked. I did not think I was going to do as well as I did.
Yeah.
And then right after that was when school actually started. I was also transitioning jobs. And so my studying kind of waned a little bit between that first and second practice test. And so that second practice test was back down around where my diagnostic was, because I had not been consistent at all with my studying or practicing.
Sure. Yeah. So, I think now your plan is to take the MCAT when?
I have a date in January, with the hope that I will be ready. If I'm not, then I am okay with pushing it back a little bit. Yeah.
Now, remind me, so you said you're in OChem right now. Is that correct?
I am,
and you're in OChem 1 or 2?
I'm in 1 right now.
Okay. And that's the only class you're taking this semester, or are you taking more than that?
That's the only class I'm in right now.
And you have OChem 2 then scheduled for the spring?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And what about biochem? Is that in your plans or?
So potentially I really want to take it. I have done some like free biochem classes online. And I've studied I think that OChem 2 is a prereq, but I'm not sure, or not a prereq, but like a a prereq for biochem. So if I waited to take the MCAT after, it would be next year. So
okay. Yeah, I think so. Basically what that's going to mean is that you're going to have to do some self-study on biochem. There's a lot of online resources and stuff in terms of biochem that can help you sort of get a sense of that. And obviously, now, are you planning to take a prep class, or you're going to do it on your own, or what's your thoughts?
I've been doing it on my own. I've been using Med School Coach's app, actually. They have like the 30 and 60 day courses for free, which has been really awesome. I've been really using Khan Academy, which has been great. I have the AAMC's practice passages. So I've mostly been using those and doing pretty well with that.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah. So I think that's going to be important. So here's my thoughts. If we'll go back to the dashboard and let's look before I kind of give my wrap up talk about my thoughts. Let's look at, have you identified some med schools that you're interested in over in that left tab on med schools?
Yeah, a couple.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've definitely looked a lot in the Southeast.
Okay.
I haven't done like a huge deep dive into the rest of the country. I have kind of ideas about where I would like to be, like region wise. But
okay. Now I see a couple of DO schools on there, so you're cool with DO or MD.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at both.
Okay, yeah, that's great. That's really good. Excellent. Okay, let's go back to your dashboard and let me just say, I think you're doing the right stuff that is necessary to do. You're doing great in the post-bac classes, and let's just we'll assume that you're going to continue with that, and that's going to go well, and that it's really going to show the med schools that you're applying to the kind of effort that you can make and the kind of performance that you can have, and so I think I'm very comfortable with that. I think that, as I had said before, as a non-traditional student with a lot of work experience and everything, I think you've done a lot that's relative to your sort of past life in terms of an industrial engineer and or industrial designer and stuff, and I think that's going to act in your favor, because it really does bring to the level of experience to your application that younger applicants really won't have, that what it's like to go to work every day and do the hard work and really focus and all that. So that's good. I like the idea that you're getting good experience through your scribing efforts, and I also like the idea that you've got that there, it seems like in terms of your activities that you've got some stuff that you're really passionate about, and that is really directing a lot of kind of your life in terms of what you're doing and the types of populations that you're concerned with. And I definitely feel very strongly that you let those passions, that fire within you, kind of direct you in terms of the, how things are going to play out and stuff. And, I would expect that that's going to direct you in medical school and also in your choice of a specialty or the field of medicine that you're interested in. Do you think that's right, that that's really going to direct you a lot? Sort of packaging things up, what I would say is, MCAT's going to be a big step for you. I'm a little uncomfortable with January. I think the fact that you're going to be in OChem 2 in the spring semester really concerns me. So I would say, I would be much more comfortable with a later date, maybe April, giving you time to sort of really get the second half of OChem, as well as doing that self-study on biochem. I think that would be probably in my view, a better feeling that I would get from that. Still plenty of time to get that score back before you apply early summer. But I would say January is kind of a little bit of a concern for me, just because of kind of the where you are in terms of OChem 1 related to OChem 2, and then the whole absence of biochem, and that having to sort of do that on your own. I think you might want to really strongly consider delaying that until later in the semester when you have a little bit more under your belt.
Okay. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah. And then I think definitely, when you get to the application part, so I would say, if you think of it in terms of red light, no, you're not ready, don't go ahead. Green light, absolutely you're ready, move forward. I would give you a yellow light. Yellow light really being more about finishing up the coursework strongly, and then that significant prep work for the MCAT. And that's also going to give you, by the time you finish up your schooling next May, June, or whatever, you're going to have a lot more experience as a scribe, which is going to be super helpful for your application. I would say that, so that's, about 7 or 8 months from now. And so you've got, quite a bit of time to really pad that stuff that you're working on. That's really great. And then do the, finish up the coursework and do the MCAT. So I would say, definitely a yellow light. And but I would say it's a yellow veering toward the green.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it too. So
yeah, good.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you're doing the right stuff. You seem to know. You got a path charted out. You got a plan. Work the plan. It's just like you were talking about in design work and engineering. You put together a plan, you put together a timeline, and then you got to work that timeline, and then sometimes you have to make adjustments to it as things happen or don't happen, the way that you anticipated they would. So use that background in your design work to sort of help you, kind of characterize this whole process. Yeah. So I think
absolutely.
Yeah, that sounds good. So, well, Taylor, I hope this has been helpful for you.
It really has. Yeah.
Good.
This is an awesome perspective.
Well, good. Well, I hope you do well. Please do keep in touch with us off and on and let us know how things are going. And we'll be interested to keep up with you and see the results of all your hard work.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it too.
Yeah, I bet you are. Well,